Good morning, this is your stats sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is pre-quiz 3B.3 geometric and binomial distributions, and this will be problems 11 through 20. In a rural town, 70% of registered residents aged 18 to 24 vote in local elections. Remember, percents always divide by 100, so in this case, we know our probability is 0.70. Voting participation is independent for each individual, and the percentage remains constant. That's important to be Bernoulli, and remember geometric and binomial are both Bernoulli distributions. A group of 40 young residents. So that means we have a total group size of 40. That'll be important if we have a binomial was selected to study their voting behavior. Okay, so going on to number 11. Number 11, the question was, what's the probability the first voter is found within the first three people surveyed? So as soon as I see the word first, it's like, oh, bing, 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 I should be thinking geometric. And geometric always starts at a 1, so this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we may never find the first one, so it could technically go to infinity, but they said within the first three. So that means I'm looking out of this group. Well, that means I have multiple values. Anytime I have multiple values, it's a summation. So this is a geometric, and I have to use a summation where this will be my lowest value, and this will be my highest value, and our probability statement will come from that. So there's my lowest value. There's what we have. Remember, it could technically go to infinity, and it could be the first, second, or third, but we only worry about the lowest and highest. So here's what I have to do in the calculator. Because I have multiple values, I have to use a summation. So I'm going to go press the math button, scroll down to 0, summation, and I'll press the XTON button, and we started at 1 and we go to 3. And then I'll press second vars, geometric PDF, probability is 0.70. And anytime we have a summation, this X value will be X anytime we have a summation. So 0.973. Now, where did all that work come from? The plug-in. Well, the plug comes in from this formula. All right. And n minus 1 to the p. Well, p is our probability, n is our chance for success. Well, what was our lowest value? Our lowest value was 1, and that's where this 1 comes from. And what was our highest value of interest? Our highest value was 3. And look, that's where that 3 comes from. And of course, the 0.7 is just the probability. And once again, we're just using the formula right here. This is the PDF version, and this is the expanded. Okay? All right. And I have L for low and H for high. That's what those stand for. Number 12. What is the probability that between 28 and 32 residents vote out of the 40? So since it's out of the total, we're talking about it being a binomial because it's out of the group of 40. So it's a binomial. And it could be 0 vote, 1 vote, 2 vote, ... to 27, 28, ... 32, ... to 40. But we're really only looking for the 28 to 32. So I have multiple values. So anytime I have multiple values, that tells me it's going to be a summation. All right, I'm going to have to use a summation, and this will be my low score, and this will be my high score. So let's see what we have here. Well, sure enough, there's my low, there's my high. That's my number line that we have out of the group of 40, 28 to 32. There's my low, there's my low, there's my high, there's my high. And because we have multiple values, we have to use a summation. So we're going to press the math button, drop all the way to summation, press X equal. My low value is 28. My high value is 32. Well, that didn't work. Let's clear that out. I'm just going to clear everything out. All right, math button to summation, XTON button. My low value circled was 28. My high value circled was 32. arrow over, second vars, binomial, PDF, trials, we have 40 of them. That's our group size. Our probability is 0.7. Anytime we have a summation, we use the XTON button. And we end up getting 0.52189. Okay? Because we are 0.5218 because we're going to truncate. Now, our formula. Well, the formula for the binomial, we have n choose the low, n choose the high. So what was our low value? Our low value was 28. And see where it shows up? In low. And then in high is 32. And that's where the high value is. Okay? Now, also, we should notice a couple other things. This 28 also shows up here. And that 32 also shows up there. But where did this 12 come from? That 12 came from the 40 minus the 28. Where did this 8 come from? 40 minus 32. All right? Okay, next thing. Number 13, what's the standard deviation of the number of people surveyed to find the first voter? Ooh, first. That tells me we're looking for the geo. So I need a geo, but I need the standard deviation. Well, what's the standard deviation formula? The standard deviation formula is square root of 1 minus p over p. And in this case, parentheses 1 minus 0.70, close parentheses, raise it to the half power, and divide by the 0.70. And we get, well, I got a different answer than they got. That's not a good sign. So let me try that again, make sure. Square, second, square root 1 minus 0.7 divided by 0.7, and I get 0.7824. So I'm going to scratch that out and call this 0.7824. All right, because that's what I got both times. All right, next problem. Number 14. What's the probability that fewer than 30 residents vote? Be careful, we have 0, 1, 2, ... 29, 30, 31, ... all the way to 40. So the fact that it's out of the total group tells me it's a binomial. Is 31 fewer than 30? No. Is 30 fewer than 30? No. Is 29 fewer than? Yes. So I'm looking for that group. Well, the fact that I have more than one number circled tells me that I have to use the summation. All right. So there's my number line, 0 through 29. So there's my low, there's my high. And we said it was a summation because more than one value, and it's a binomial because it's out of the group. So here we go. We start off by pressing the math button. We got to go to summation, which is number 0. And the XTON button. In this case, we start at 0, so my low value is 0. My high value is 29. Second vars, binomial PDF, trials is 40, probability is the same, and anytime it's a summation, it's the X. Remember, that's just the XTON button. And we get 0.6912. And as a reminder, look where the low shows up. Low, low, and low. And where does the high show up? High, high, and high. And by the way, I forgot one of the lows. I left off that low. Okay. And in choose the low, in choose the high. Low, And this is N minus XL, and that's what I was about to tell you right now. Where did this 40 come from? This 40 didn't come from there. It actually came from the difference. Where did this 11 came from? It came from the difference, 40 minus 29. Okay, group minus high went here. Group minus low went there. All right, number 15. What is the probability the first voter, so I see the word first, so like, oh, this must be a geometric, is found on or before the 10th person surveyed. So that means it could be the first person, second person, third, dot, 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 ninth, 10th, dot, 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 all the way to infinity. I circled more than one value. Oh, that's nice. That means I have to do the summation. So this is going to be a summation for the geo. So 1 to 9. So my low value is 1, my high value is 10, and we know it's a summation. So we press the math button, scroll down to summation, which is 0. Press the XTON button. What was the low value? 1. The high value, 10. And second vars, and it's a geometric. PDF, 0.7. Our X value, anytime we have a summation, X value is always X. And we get 0.999, and we only go 4 places. Okay, and once again, look where our low shows up. This is our low. And where did our high show up? I meant to use green, but oh well. Okay, moving on to number 16. We're getting through this kind of quickly now. What's the probability that at least 30 voters vote? At least 30 residents vote. So we could have 0 vote, 1 vote, 2 vote, dot, 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 29, 30, 31, dot, 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 all the way to 40. But 30 is at least 30, 31 is at least 30, so it could be any one of these. Okay, so we have the entire group. The fact that we have the entire group is a binomial, and the fact that I have more than one value is summation. Okay, so since this is the case, my low value is 30, my high value is 40, and that's better be what shows up on the number line. And sure enough, it is. And look, there's my low value, there's my high value. So here we go in the calculator. We have multiple values, so summation. So we're going to press the math, scroll down to summation, the XTON button. But what was our lowest value circled? We're starting at 30. Our highest value was 40. Second vars, binomial PDF, trials 40, p-value 0.7, x. Anytime we have a summation, we always have to use the X, we use the XTON button, and we get 0.308. So our formula, N of our low value, what was our low value? 30. So that's what went there. So our 30 should show up here, there, and there. Because there's our low. Our high value, what was our high value? Well, 40. Oops, wrong spot. That one, second one. And if you notice, there's our low, there's a high showing up again and again. You know what? I should have done that more often. I should have highlighted this as well. It shows up here and it shows up there. There's our high value. The question is, how did we get that 10? Well, 40 minus 30. So this is 40 minus 30. And how did we get to 0? This is just 40 minus 40. And when we did that, we got 0.3087. Number 17. What is the probability the first voter is found after the 8th person? Well, first tells me this is a geo. Now, it could be the 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 7, 8, 9, 10, dot, 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 all the way to infinity. Well, 7 after the eighth? No. Is 8 after the eighth? No. Is 9 after the eighth? Yes. Is 10 all the way to infinity? If you circle it, first off, multiple values. Multiple values tells me a summation, but if you ever circle infinity, you have to do the 1 minus. So infinity circled, you got to do 1 minus. So that's going to be our work for this one. So in this case, we have 9 to infinity. And notice the 1 minus. Well, what are we circling, subtracting? We're subtracting out what we don't want. Well, what don't we want? We don't want 1 minus 8, so that's why we have it here. So that's what we're circling, because the calculator will not go to infinity. If you try it, it'll just spin forever, and finally it'll stop. It won't give you an answer. So that's what we have to do. So we're going to go 1 minus math button, scroll down to summation. X is 1, because that's our low value, to our high value of 8. Second vars, geometric PDF, 0.7, X value. Anytime you have a summation, any summation, we use the X. And that's what we have written there. Press enter. And we have to the negative fifth, so we're going to need 4 zeros in front. Now, let's point some things out. First off, what are these values? Well, this was my low value. And it shows up there. And this is my high value. And look where all it shows up. Now, in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, because we moved this 5 places. 4 zeros is approximately 0, because we only go 4 decimal places and truncate. So it's approximately 0. All right, number 18. What's the probability that between 25 and 35 residents vote? Well, our group size is 40, so this is a binomial because it's out of the group of 40. And our number line, we could have 0, 1, 2, dot, 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 24, 25, dot, 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 35, dot, 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 40. But we're only interested in this group. I have multiple values. Anytime you have multiple values, that makes it a summation. So in this case, 25 to 35, and we have a summation. So press the math button, scroll down till we get to summation. Our lowest, or press the X, our lowest thing was 25. Our highest is 35. Second vars, binomial PDF. Trials is 40. P is 0.7. And our X value, anytime you use summation, you have to use the X. Oops. Use the X. And we get 0.8822. And once again, here's my low value. Here's my high value. And remember, n choose the low, probability of the low. N choose the high, probability of a high. But where did the 15 come from? The 15 came from this difference. 40 minus 25. Where did the 5 come? 40 minus the 35. Okay, number 19. What's the mean and expected number of people surveyed to find the first voter? Okay, first voter tells me I'm looking for the geometric. Well, geometric, and they want the mean. Well, the expected value is 1 over p. which in this case is just 1 over 0.7. And just to check that out, 1 divided by 0.7 is 1.4285. It also asks for the mean. Well, guess what? The mean is still the same thing. Don't need to show the work twice. That's why we didn't do it. But the mean and the expected value are exactly the same thing. The next thing, what's the probability that at least 40 residents vote? That's a weird question. All right. We changed this problem to the probability that at least 20 residents voted. We changed that. So that's a typo on this. This needs to be changed. What's the probability at least 20 voted? So we could have, this is out of the group of 40. So this makes it a binomial. And we could have 0, 1, 2, dot, 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 19, 20, dot, 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 all the way to 40. Well, since I circled multiple values, this makes this a summation where this is my low and this is my high, and it's a binomial because it's out of the group of 40. So that's what we have. The 20 choose 40. There's my low. There's my high. Anytime it's multiple values, it's a summation. You should know that by now. We press the math button, drop down to summation, press the XTON button, and we get a 20. We go all the way to 40. Second vars, binomial PDF. Anytime you have a summation, that's an X. And we get 0.9975. Once again, where's my low values? Low, low, and low, and low. And then my high values, high, 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 and high. Now, where did this 20 come from? It didn't come from here. It came from the difference between the two. Where did this 0 come from? Difference between the two, 40 minus 40. Okay, I hope this helped. Put this real quickly up here. In choose the low value, the probability of the low value. In choose the high value, probability of the high value. In choose the low, probability of the low. In choose the high, probability of the high. Okay, so that's where those come from. Hopes this helps. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.